Do you find yourself feeling depressed, stressed out, or fearful of what others think? If you're answering yes, then you should probably go to therapy. But if you're not scheduled till next week and have some time, I think I have the thing for you. As people, we tend to think about ourselves a lot. Honestly, most everyone thinks about themselves more than anyone around them. This self-observation leads to a good or bad outcome usually. You think about your mistakes, appearance, and skills with disgust, and then your brain either gives you ideas for improvement or drives you down more by overanalyzing and accepting your flaws without trying to improve. This way of thinking is known as insecurity, and I assume you know that because everyone has insecurities. It's just your choice to decide how to react to such insecurities that haunt you. Unfortunately, I'm no therapist, so to help you choose better outcomes, we'll be looking at the 2018 game from Maddie Makes Games, Inc., known as Celeste. In about 10 hours or so, Celeste can give you so many different ways to think about the insecurities that have been hurting your daily life. Today, I'm going to use Celeste as my resource in order to make all of us happier people. To really maximize today's effect, you'd want to think about yourself as the main character, Madeline, because she wants to climb the mysterious Celeste mountain in order to prove to herself that she has the strength and resolve to do it. The mountain is the obstacles that are in her life in her current day, and reaching the summit for her is that satisfaction she wants by achieving something for self-improvement. Before Madeline can begin her journey, she meets Granny at the base of the mountain. Granny warns her about climbing the mountain because it can be a very strange place, and she might even see things. I think Granny is not an encouraging help, but she is just looking out for Madeline in this scene. That's something we need to be able to discern in our lives, is someone who knows more trying to offer advice, to help, or to hurt. Strangers don't know you, they are simply offering a warning. It's you who needs to decide if you are capable of attempting whatever in your life. Madeline has confidence in her mission, so she ignores Granny and treads on to the beginning of the mountain trail. Madeline quickly meets another character named Theo. They share a little about their lives and that they are both looking for a little self-reflection on this lonely climb. As Madeline reaches the base, she feels exhausted and decides to sleep and begin the journey in the morning. Before dozing off, a little doubt seeps into her mind as she questions if she should do this. Waking up, Madeline begins the climb to change her life. Hopping through the cavern, she comes across a mirror. A dark figure is seen in the mirror as Madeline runs by. After checking back, the dark figure breaks through the mirror and runs off. Madeline catches the dark, creepy figure and finds out it's a part of her. The impudent figure berates Madeline, saying she could never be a mountain climber. Madeline questions if she's the weak or lazy part of her. The dark figure reveals she's the pragmatic part of her. The dark figure then says that they should go home, that they're wasting their time here. Madeline disagrees, and the figure begins chasing her through the mountain caverns. Madeline is able to escape to a small building and finds a ringing phone. Answering it, she begins talking to an individual close to her. It's maybe an ex or parent. It's unknown through the distorted voice and blacked out image. They argue, and the figure mentions that they haven't spoken in months. So the figure doesn't know why Madeline would call. Madeline then realizes it's a dream, and then again questions if she should climb the mountain. The dark figure agrees that they should go home, and then it turns into a seven-eyed monster that devours Madeline. The feeling of her insecurities attacking her. Waking up for real this time, Madeline, against everything in the world telling her no, starts the climb of the mountain. Everything is pointing towards the mountain being over her head, and yet she starts the climb without saying a word. She just runs, dashes, and climbs before she can even think. Maybe the first hint into solving insecurity: don't think, just act. Reaching the top of the first climb, Madeline finds Theo waiting for her. The two confide their goals and offer encouragement to each other. Theo, unlike Granny, believes Madeline can do it and thinks the goals are great to follow. He gets a selfie with her and says he won't post that one, as Madeline says she isn't very photogenic. Theo says no one looks good without a filter, and Madeline says he can post it now with that sort of reassurance from Theo. Before the next climb, Madeline calls her mom. Her mom is pleasantly surprised and asks if she's okay, eventually getting into her having panic attacks. Before Madeline answers, the screen fades to black, as Madeline, I guess, isn't ready to show us the negative thoughts she has about herself. Madeline's next climb takes us to Celeste Hotel Resort, where she meets a totally not ghost, Mr. Oshiro. The agitated Mr. Oshiro refused to allow Madeline to leave as he wants people to enjoy the hotel and gets customers very rarely. He opts to bring Madeline to the professional suite, which Madeline hopes she can climb out of to leave the hotel, as she doesn't really have time to stay. The hotel is a mess, as Mr. Oshiro is the only employee left. Madeline shows real kindness through her struggles and helps Mr. Oshiro by cleaning the clutter, even though she doesn't want to stay. She even has the option to leave with Theo, as he has found a vent that leads out. She instead wants to help Mr. Oshiro as she's concerned about him and his health. Through her own flaws, Madeline is still a nice person who helps others stay positive. Mr. Oshiro is slowly melting down as he doubts that he can even get Madeline to stay because he is terrible at managing the hotel. The dark figure, who I'll now refer to as Madeline, breaks through the mirror in a presidential suite and it brutally insults Mr. Oshiro, tearing into him about the poor shape of the hotel, and it causes Mr. Oshiro to implode, making him extremely upset. He turns into a monster and chases Madeline away, wanting nothing to do with her anymore. Madeline finds Granny outside of the hotel, and they have more discussion about the mountain and even Mr. Oshiro. Granny says that sometimes stubbornness and determination are just two sides of the same coin, that the mountain brings out what's really in you. Madeline's bad side is locked away and her thoughts on giving up are trying to break out. Is her stubbornness or determination keeping her on the climb? Does it really even matter? Climbing the mountain is seen as self-improvement. Does it matter how you feel better as long as it actually helps you? We don't get the answer in this level of the climb, but Madeline will keep searching for the satisfaction she's desired since the beginning. For the next part of the climb, Madeline and Theo meet up again at a zipline cart to take them higher. During the ride, the cart begins to shake, causing Madeline to have a panic attack. Luckily, Theo is there to teach her a technique to calm down. Focusing her breathing like a floating feather, up and down, helps her relax and regain control. Theo is really beginning to be a very good character. He is the friend everyone needs, someone to not only share journeys with, but to actually care for you, to make sure you're alright, and to help you be better. He might always know what to do, or say, but he always has the best intentions. Having people like that is as important as thinking more positively. Another hint to solving insecurity. Madeline and Theo explore a temple until Theo is sucked into a mirror, and later Madeline goes after to save him. A great relation in the making. Madeline and Badeline fight over whose fault it is, both looking for someone to blame for their newfound trouble. Madeline refocuses, saying that if it is her fault or not, she can still save Theo. Madeline finds Theo stuck in a crystal and carries him out through the level, eventually saving him. The two share more conversation. Madeline tells him about Badeline and how she's been messing things up. Theo trusts his friend Madeline, how crazy it sounds, and states he believes her, and wishes he could help more. Without knowing, Theo's already helping a lot. Madeline has found someone to trust in Theo, and it's even enough to discuss her feelings of depression that are keeping her trapped. She's told her mom, but her mom doesn't really know how to help. Through every single dialogue by the campfire, Theo makes Madeline feel better every time by the end. A good friend seemingly goes a long way. After discussing everything with Theo, Madeline faces Badeline. Madeline says that Badeline is everything that needs to be left behind. Madeline wants to let all the bad free so that they can both be happy. Badeline freaks out though and attacks Madeline with hateful remarks. After the fight with Badeline pulls Madeline to the bottom of the mountain. A defeated Madeline questions how she can get rid of that bad part of her. Madeline doesn't realize that you need every part of yourself. You can't have good or bad. If everything is good, then nothing is good. The bad highlights the good. It makes you are who you are. Demanding improvement from the bad things is what helps me personally continually want to be better. It's my own climb. Madeline now needing to reclimb so much has given her a lot of time to think about this. Finally making her way out of the cave, Madeline finds Granny, and Granny tells Madeline to talk to Badeline and figure out why she's scared. So many people quit climbing because they can't face themselves. Mountain shows people the truth of what they really are, and someday, if Madeline isn't ready now, she can come back later, when she's truly ready to face herself. After hearing this though, Madeline won't give up, and she will go find Badeline to figure out the truth of her anger. Madeline finds Badeline and forces her to listen. Madeline made a mistake trying to throw her out. She actually wants to climb out of the mountain together. The two make up, and with some convincing they work together to climb out, both bouncing off each other to reach higher points than ever. Reaching the top, they share the amazing moment they've achieved for themselves. Not only are they sharing the massive view from the summit, but even a special moment, as Madeline says that when they go home, Madeline still needs to listen to her even when she won't have this physical form. You always need to listen to your bad side. It's your choice to act on it. If you look rough, listen to yourself and choose to clean up. Shower if you smell, work out if you dislike your appearance, and talk to everyone if you're lacking people in your life. You don't always have to think positively. You need the negativity to be able to see what you need to be happier. Growing up, I had some terrible teeth. They came in all misaligned with some even sticking out of my gums, like diagonally over top of the main row. I hated seeing my teeth look like this, and I didn't even bother brushing them too much because they were already so bad. Fortunately, I don't live in the United Kingdom, and my parents could afford braces. I did end up having a cavity and 3 holes that needed to be filled before I had the braces, since I neglected my poor teeth so often, but I did eventually get the braces for 2 years. Having such poor teeth was definitely something I was insecure about. Sometimes when I smiled, I remembered how bad they were and would try to hide them. No matter how much braces hurt, I didn't complain or want them to loosen them at all. I just did whatever they told me for those 2 years. I have nice straight teeth now, and I still wear my retainer every night because I think of the bad and choose the good. To this day, I'm still trying to whiten my teeth after years of, neglect, and I still try my best to listen to the good. So with that being a life example of something I can control, I also struggle with stuff that I cannot control. I found out I had a chronic immune disorder in 2019, and at first it was just about how my health was, but after getting it under control with a lot of medication, it began to weigh on me mentally. I didn't like that my health wasn't what it was. I was a very active kid, climbing trees and mashing wiffle balls in the yard before I'd run around the trees that somewhat worked as bases. Now I was out of breath going up steps and sometimes felt like my joints or muscles became stiff like old gum. I just felt different, and I didn't want people to know that that was what I was going through. I eventually decided I just had to try stuff to improve the situation. Sleeping 15 hours a day and not having the energy to go outside is just not a way to live. I looked at the bad and made the choice to be more active again. Lifting, running, and playing baseball. Whether you are depressed, insecure, or lost, Celeste teaches us that you need to self-reflect and think about the bad and if you should ignore it or make it good. Trust in yourself to rule your own life, because it's your life to improve, not anyone else's that's around you. If you've enjoyed hearing me talk about this game, I recommend giving it a try. It is a pretty difficult platformer, and if you're not really looking for something difficulty, there are little assists you can turn on to have an easier time. There's also just so much dialogue you can get in the game that obviously I couldn't talk about at all. I just grabbed mainly the main points, but there's a lot to really hit. So I do recommend playing it for yourself, as you'll definitely get something else out of it. I appreciate anyone who's still watching this video, and I just really implore you to keep climbing for yourself and seeing where you can get. Part of me doing this channel has been some sort of a climb. I definitely get insecure sometimes what I post, whether it's entertaining enough or what I'm saying in it. I don't really like when people think things about me, but it's really just been pushing it out because doing this has made me happier. I enjoy kind of making something, and with the recent success of a video, hearing people actually appreciate the content. So definitely going to be more coming out. Thank you all, and I hope you all have an amazing week. Take care.